Well, hello and welcome to the Pup Mommy. This is a channel where I share my practical hands-on experience in what I've learned, including my mistakes, in over 30 years of owning, loving, and caring for dogs. Now, this video is the first in a three-part series called Adopting a Shelter Dog. And in this video, I'm going to take you through part one, which is getting to know what kind of dogs you're going to find in the shelter. And also, before you even go to the shelter, what you should be thinking about and planning. So let's get started in this part. Did you know that 6 out of 10 dogs adopted are returned? Yes, it's true. 60% of dogs adopted are not with their original adopter within 6 months of their adoption. So one of the points of this video is to ensure that neither you nor your adoptive dog are part of that statistical pool. So let's get started here. When you're thinking about going to a shelter and adopting a dog, what exactly do you think you're going to find there? Well, there are usually 3 groups of dogs that you're going to find at a shelter. The first group is owner surrender. Why are people surrendering their dogs? Could be a number of reasons. Could be anything from personal reasons like divorce, homelessness, financial hardship. Sometimes the original owner of the dog passes away or has to go to a rehab or a nursing home, and the dog is given to a family member. The family member doesn't want the dog, or the dog clashes with their own pets, so the dog is rehomed to the shelter. Sometimes dogs come in for medical reasons, whether the medical reason is, again, for the human owner or it's their own medical reason. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're older senior dogs. With the costs of veterinary care where they are today, there are many people who, when faced with medical issues for their dog, can't afford the cost. And as a result, they send the dog to the shelter. There are also other reasons. Sometimes the reasons can be anything from I'm moving and I can't take the dog with, which I never understand. There is also when the dog is too big. The dog makes too much noise. I don't have enough time for the dog. Those are all reasons that people jot down. Behavioral concerns, maybe people got the wrong dog, and that has been known to happen very, very often. They get the wrong breed for their personality and their lifestyle, and next thing you know, they can't handle the dog, they're overwhelmed, and the dog ends up in a shelter. So that's the owner surrender group. The next group of dogs you have are the dogs who have been confiscated, sometimes and most of the times to neglect and abuse. Or again, if the dog is misbehaving, the dog again is confiscated, or let's say the owner ends up in jail. Third group of dogs that you're going to have are strays. Now, with strays, that doesn't necessarily mean the dog was born on the street. Most of the strays that are picked up were once owned by people. But the person was too lazy and didn't want to pay the drop-off fee at the shelter. They couldn't be bothered. They didn't want the stigma of walking into a shelter. So they take the dog and they leave it in the middle of nowhere. But then there is also the stray that, through the problem of an open gate, a door left open inadvertently, fireworks going off, thunderstorms, lightning, the dog just bolts. And it's not to say that people aren't looking for the dog. Sometimes the dog could be 2 miles away from home and people can't find it. Or the dog can travel a couple 100 miles. But either way, the dog is not reclaimed, the dog is lost, cannot be found. So those are the dogs that you're going to see at the shelter. And in part 2 of the video, I'm going to talk to you about what to expect when you get to the shelter, what you expect from the dogs, how the dogs may react toward you. So that's covered in part 2 of the video. Now, before you go to the shelter, it's also a very good idea to do some pre-planning. Have something in the back of your mind as to the kind of dog that you are looking for. You know, you want a dog that is going to complement your personality and your lifestyle. And what I want to impress upon you is that the dog of your dreams may not be the right dog for you at this point in your life. And also remember, too, that adopting a dog is a balancing act between your head, your heart, and your instincts. But it always helps to have a plan, either whether you've got it on your iPad, you've got it on paper, you've got it in the back of your head, as to what you are looking for. Do not go into a shelter and say, well, I'll know it when I see it. Or I'll know the dog because the dog will speak to me. I'll know it. That's playing roulette, folks. That's playing roulette with you, and it's playing roulette with the dog. And you don't want to do that. So ask yourself some questions and really be honest. If you are a very busy person, whether you're glued to a computer at home constantly working, whether you work a 9 to 5 or extra shift somewhere, if you're a mom with children and you're a family with children and they have after-school activities, be really honest with yourself as to what kind of dog you want to bring into your environment. Because a puppy is a four-legged baby, a dog is a four-legged child. And if you're not ready for another baby or another child, you also should be thinking very carefully about whether or not you're ready for a dog. But the dog has to match your activity level. It has to match or complement your personality. If you are tired at the end of the day, the last thing that you want to do is have to walk a dog 2 miles. You don't want that. And if you're busy and you've got children running around and you're running errands and all that, you don't need to have eyes 360 around your head to see what your dog is doing so that it's not chewing something or digging up something. These are all very, very important. All the breeds of dogs that are out there. And another thing I would say to you is this. 4% of the dogs in shelters are purebreds. The rest are mixed breeds. So you've got a compendium of all different kinds of dogs there, whether you've got a retriever beagle mix, or you've got a golden doodle mix, or you've got a whatever there. You have to think about very carefully about the different breeds and the different personalities and functions of those breeds, because that's going to impact how the dog's behavior and how it acts with you, and also what its tendencies are. And I'll close this video by saying, the Pup Mommy offers a service to people to help them find the perfect dog for their lifestyle and their personality. I will leave a link to my website for more information. If you need help, I'm certainly willing to help you. There are all kinds of packages and pricings available. With that, I want to say thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, I answer everything. So leave them in the comment section below, and I'll leave additional information in the description section. I also have available some information called a guide to breeder rescue shelter, to see which adoption path is really right for you. So this is the end of part 1 of adopting a shelter dog. Part 2 is going to the shelter, and then part 3 will bringing your dog home. What to know before, what to expect after. So again, thank you very much for your attention. I do so appreciate it. Don't forget to click and subscribe, and bye for now.